Okay, we are closing in on Donald Trump's final days. Trump has joked about leaving the country when it loses, and that is a growing likelihood. Polls have been steady for about 6 months now, showing Trump's unelectability and President Joe Biden's very strong lead. President Biden is proven. He's tough, resilient, smart, literate, articulate, knowledgeable, experienced, wise, thoughtful, caring, empathetic, sympathetic, patriotic, American, everything that Donald Trump, the traitor, penniless fraud, and idiot is not. But Trump's final days are coming. In a few days, 4, 5, 6 days, 150 hours or under, we're pretty much going to know the direction of the outcome of this election. Even if we don't know it on November 3rd, where we flush the turd, results may come more slowly due to the remarkable amount of votes cast by mail-in ballot. There have been an enormous amount of mail-in ballots cast due to the coronavirus pandemic and the threat of contracting the COVID-19 disease. And when Trump loses and has no seat of power or authority to wield over anyone, its debts will come due. And those creditors are going to want their money. And they're going to exact it any way they can. And Trump knows that. Trump also knows one of the reasons why it's talking about fleeing the country when it loses is because Trump is a criminal tax evader, having committed wire fraud, insurance fraud, bank fraud, money laundering, RICO crimes. Trump knows that the authorities are going to come calling. Trump may very well try to flee the night of the 3rd or the morning of the 4th of November. Once we flush the turd on November 3rd, that's when Trump's real panic is going to kick in. Trump is going to reach the boiling point and try to flee. He will be interdicted at the airport by authorities, by the Manhattan prosecutor, by the prosecutors from the Southern District of New York. Trump will be apprehended if it tries to flee the country. Trump knows what's coming. Trump is a tyrant, a thin-skinned, insecure douchebag and traitor that hates the American public, that despises him for his incompetence, for his lying, for his fraud, for his criminality and despicability. It knows it's despised. Trump knows it's despised. And as a result, Trump is going to try herd mentality, herd immunity on the public that dislikes Trump so much. And Trump is literally at this point with the coronavirus trying to murder Americans. He has a disdain for those who are repelled by it. And everyone is repelled by Trump. Trump is repellent, repulsive, repugnant, disgusting, disgraceful, and despicable. He's a clown, idiot, fool. He's an inept, illiterate, innumerate fool who knows nothing about anything and has now brought in a fake doctor, this idiot, Scotty Atlas, a buffoon that he netted off of Fox Comedy News. This moron hasn't practiced medicine, radiology, in a decade or more. He's not current. In order for a doctors like ourselves, to be up to date, you need to be up to the minute. You need to be learning on a daily basis what new studies there are, what new therapies there are, what new surgeries there are, what new techniques there are. All of this happens sometimes in minutes or hours, certainly in days. This buffoon that Trump has harnessed from Fox Comedy News to bring in to manage oversight of its already failed pandemic response is making matters worse. Drumpf doesn't care if you live or die. Could care less. We're approaching 250,000 dead Americans right now because of Drumpf's deliberate mishandling of this whole thing, this crisis. But during that, Drumpf is trying to take away your health care. Drumpf is a liar, a fraud, an idiot, and a buffoon, but he's a practice scumbag. And he's going to keep lying, telling you he's going to cover pre-existing conditions or some other crap, some other nonsense where he's going to supplant Obamacare, which has saved millions of lives. He's going to supplant that with Drumpf care, which doesn't exist, never will exist, and Drumpf has lied about for about 5 years now, saying that it's literally, what he's down to now is saying it's literally coming any minute, any day, any second. It's never coming. There isn't any. There isn't a plan. There isn't a policy. There isn't any direction. And Drumpf knows that. Just like Drumpf knows a vaccine will not be readily available to counter COVID-19 for at least a year, where it's distributable, dispensable, where mass populations will be getting it. Not to mention there's a follow-up booster to ensure the length and strength of immunity. So that's not going to be available for a long time, no matter what Drumpf says. Drumpf was counting on it coming out before its removal. That's not going to happen. Drumpf is going to be removed November 3rd. We're flushing the turd. But it will argue and whine and bay and cry like the sissy and idiot it is. Whining, insecure little wuss. The proverbial snowflake. So, what you have to choose now is whether you want health care coverage or not during a pandemic, during a crisis that this asshole, this piece of shit Drumpf, deliberately mishandled, putting your lives at risk, your family's lives at risk, deliberately. Drumpf doesn't care about you. The Regeneron cocktail that Drumpf received when it was sick with COVID-19 has been allowed for 10 people. An exception has been made to break trial use to administer it to 10 patients in the entire world. Billions of people, 10 people were the beneficiaries of that particular monoclonal cocktail. You have to vote for your life right now. Do you want health care? Do you want pre-existing conditions covered for the 120, 130, 140 million, approximately half of all Americans that have those pre-existing conditions? Do you want those covered in your children? Your children who may be born with a pre-existing condition that, if you're religious, your God would have given them at birth to punish them. So you have to decide whether those particulars matter to you, whether it matters to you whether you have full health care coverage, whether your children and your family's children, extended families, children, and your loved ones have that coverage. Because Drumpf isn't going to give it to you. Drumpf has no plan. Drumpf will, indeed, take it away from you. All you have to do is look and see what this lying, degenerate, fraud, and penniless beggar bum has said over the last 5 years. Make up your own mind, of course. You should never really do otherwise. But you should base your decisions on fact and reality, not on the words of a lying fraud and proven idiot and criminal degenerate and piece of shit like Donald Drumpf. Vote for your life, because your life is at stake, and everyone you know, their life is at stake also. This is the time to vote all blue. Fix the Senate, fix the Congress, stack the courts, pack them with people who reflect America's composition. This is the time to do it. Vote for your life. Your life depends on it. The lives of your neighbors, your families, your friends, your associates, they're all on the line too. So vote for your life. This is the time to do it.